There's one word in the English dictionary that I've got a love-hate relationship with, and that word is motivation. Because it's amazing when we've got it, but it doesn't stick around for a while, and a lot of times I struggle to find it. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through why you shouldn't rely on motivation and how to fix that as well. And if you are new here, I'm Lewis, I'm the founder of the Hyrox project, and I help guys run like runners, look like lifters while balancing life, family, business, and fitness. And I've helped hundreds of guys achieve incredible results over the last 8 years of coaching. If you want more information on what I do, there's a link in the description. So let's get into it. So the real reason that you're not motivated and how to fix it. Let's get straight into it. First and foremost, I want to walk through the myth of motivation. Motivation from the offset is an emotion, it's a feeling, it's not a thing, it's not tangible. So we can't rely on that all the time. And I'm going to call out something here that most people don't talk about. Motivation is massively important because you have to be motivated in order to do the things that you want to do. But the big thing that people struggle with most is actually achieving that motivation. I speak to hundreds of guys in the DMs on a weekly basis, and 90% of the time, motivation creeps up in some capacity. I'm just not motivated, I haven't had the motivation, I've lost the motivation, whatever it is, they always use the word motivation when it comes to their fitness journey or whatever journey that they're on at that time. And it's because of this thing. The real problem is you lack clarity. You don't know what you're doing, which is the reason why it fuels motivation. Imagine this, I tell you to drive from Liverpool to Glasgow with no sat-nav, in a dodgy car. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what direction to go in. I don't know where the traffic is. I don't know what's on the other side. It's very difficult for me to be motivated to do that when I can't see where I'm actually going. All I know is it's going to take me a while. I'm going to get super frustrated and I don't know if it's worth it at the end. So the motivation to make me do that is going to be really, really low. Whereas if I give you the option and go, right, we're going to use Waze. We're going to get there at the most efficient time. It's going to take us 3 hours. And at the end of it, there's an overnight spa with a pool and the best gym and loads of food. You'd be a lot more motivated to get up and do that. And you're driving a Ferrari to get there. Let's just add that in. So clarity is so important for motivation because you need to be clear on the direction that you're going in order to get that motivation. And that's what people struggle with at the start. They don't know what they're doing. This is something we're going to break down today. There's a couple of things to it as well. When you're so in the weeds with work or with family or wherever you're a dad, I know what it feels like. You're constantly in that phase of like pressure from all angles. And a lot of the time, that's going to affect motivation because you can't be motivated when you're already on the bones of your arse, so to speak. So what I mean by this is we need to create capacity on our mind in order to be motivated as well. And this is where a lot of people go, you know, I'll wait until things have slowed down or when I've got a clear runway. But unfortunately, that's never going to come. What we've got to do is we've got to create capacity in our mind, get motivated through momentum, through clarity, and then that'll breathe into everything else that we do. So we're going to use that as an example. The pain of fire isn't gone. It's unfocused, and that's exactly what I'm saying there. You know you've got the desire to do something and to change, but you just haven't got the capacity to think about it, which is what I've just said earlier. So this is what we need to do instead. First and foremost, you need to visualize a destination. There's always a topic that people talk about, which is what is your why? You need to understand what that is. And this is not for me to decide, this is not for any coach to decide for you. It's to help us guide you on it, for example. But you need to really, really truthfully understand your why. And the best way to do that is ask yourself why up to 5 times. So what I mean by that is, if I say to someone, why do you want to get in shape? They usually say, so I can look better. Okay, why do you want to look better? Maybe because I don't feel confident with my clothes on. Okay, no problem. Why is that? Because my belly overhangs and, you know, I don't feel... And you get deeper and deeper and deeper into it. You know, the way that people perceive you, the way that you walk into a room, the standards that you keep for yourself that your children are going to look at. There's a big reason behind that. A lot of the guys that I coach, their why is their family. If they're not showing up as their best self, that affects their family. So the whole reason for doing it for them is for themselves, but also for their family as well. A little bit of a side tangent I put on Instagram yesterday around coaching for 8 years. And hopefully I changed a few lives in the time. And a couple of my clients messaged me saying, you haven't just changed my life, you've actually saved my life. And that was really, really powerful because what they were getting at is it's not just them that they've changed, it's the family, it's the 3 people around them, whether it's their spouse or their kids or their friends or whatever. They're the people that you've saved and they're the people whose lives you've changed because they made that decision to change themselves. And I thought that was really, really powerful. So anyway, you need to visualize what destination that looks like for you. And for a lot of people, that might be somewhere between 10 and 15% body fat, confident, fit, happier, more energy. So what are you building towards? And that's what you've got to ask yourself. What is this thing that you want? Because I get excited when I talk about business, for example. I talk about, well, I'm going to build the hybrid project. I want it to be the best thing in the world. I want it to get, hundreds of guys. My purpose is to help men create better men, basically. That is what I am building. And that gives me so much motivation to do that because I'm on board with the vision. I'm on board with the mission. So you've got to create your own mission. What is it that you're actually building towards? And then you have to link your actions to your identity. This is a big one. Does the person that you want to become, does the thing that you're building towards, do the actions that you currently do right now? And I guarantee that's not the case. So if you flip it on its head, what does the person that you're trying to become do right now? What actions do they take to become that person? And start acting like that person now. Do they get up at the right time with their alarm? Do they go to the gym 3 times a week? Do they don't drink? Do they make good decisions with their nutrition? Do they come home from work less stressed, spend time with the kids, have a better relationship? Start actively doing that now. And they're the actions that you need to do that match your identity. So the next thing is important as well for motivation, and this is to build momentum. You need to set a clear goal that you can see. And something that we do inside the hybrid project is exactly this. We map out phase 1, which is 30 days long, phase 2, which is 90 days long, and then phase 3, which is 6 months plus. So in short, it's a short-term goal, a medium-term goal, and a long-term goal. It's great to have that long-term vision of what you're building towards and the mission that you're going after, but it's also vital that you break it down into smaller chunks. Because if I was to say to you right now, the goal is to lose 30 kg and run a marathon in 6 months' time, that's just so overwhelming for you, and you haven't got no evidence that that's going to happen. So you need to set a goal that you can see, and a good goal for me is 30 days. So inside the hybrid project, the first phase is what we call the priming phase. 30 days to make sure, or 4 weeks to make sure that we get momentum built. I don't care necessarily about how much weight's being lost. I don't care how quick you're changing. It's not about speed. It's about building a foundation. So in that 30 days, it's about creating momentum. So when you get to the 30 days, have you done what you set out to do for that 30 days? 99 times out of 100, it's yes. What do you think happens? You become more motivated because you did what you said you would do. You can see the results visually. You can feel the results in your clothes. People are noticing it. All the things are happening. You're getting the results. And that's where motivation then gets increased on top of that. Because that structure that you get from coaching or the plan and the direction gives you discipline. If I was to walk in here and say, right, your goal is to run 3 times this week or train 3 times this week, this amount of calories, this on your day-by-day basis, that structure and the discipline go hand in hand. It gives you more of a focus. Why? Because you've got certainty with what you're doing. Another one, I spoke about this in the last video, is that environment shapes energy. Being a part of something, being around people who all strive to do the same thing is only going to benefit your motivation. The one quote that I love and I live by is that a high tide lifts all boats. When that tide is high, all boats get risen. So inside of a community, if one person's thriving, that's going to feed into someone else's energy. That's going to feed into someone else's energy. And we hear it all the time, is that the group chat, what you do in the chat massively helps everyone else involved in that. So although you're on your own journey, it's essential to get around other people who are doing the same thing, who match your energy. Stacking wins, similar to what I said in the first 30 days, it's important that you focus on winning the next point. Something that I spoke about in the last video as well. What I mean by this is, not feeling motivated today, go and get that run done. What can your next decision with your nutrition be? What are you going to do? Going for your step count. If you take your step count off today, if you make your nutrition in a good spot, if you move your body today, you're going to get to the end of the day and go, I won that day. And you want to try and build on that all the time. On the flip side of it, when you're not stacking wins and you're stacking losses, didn't hit my step count, made a shit decision with my food, didn't move my body, what happens? You're not going to feel motivated to get up and do that again. You will have days like that, but it's important that you're stacking wins more than you are stacking losses. Because clarity creates confidence, because you know what you're doing, so you've got confidence to actually do it. Confidence creates action, because you know that what I'm doing is going to work. You see the results, and that gives you more clarity to keep it going. Super, super important. As I said earlier, motivation is emotion, so you can't rely on emotion. You have to rely on the systems that you set yourself in order to terms your standards. I said, I'm saying all of this about motivation. if you haven't got the structure in place, you're going to struggle as well. And that's why coaching, for example, is so beneficial, because you cut out all the noise and you go in the most direct path. This is A, this is B, this is the direction between that. This is what you need to do on a weekly basis, a daily basis to get to that position. You action the steps, you get the results. It's the same thing. It's the same thing if you have a broken tap. A plumber comes in, this is what you need, this is the part that you need, this is how much it's going to charge, this is what it's going to do, there's the result. It creates certainty across the board. Again, I don't know why I used a plumber as an analogy. Maybe because my sink's broken right now. And there's got to be an identity shift. This is a little bit of a deeper rooted cause, is that if you've been in the cycle of like, I always fall off it, or I've always been the big one, or, you know, it's never worked for me, you need to shift your identity first. I was saying this yesterday to one of the coaches who I work with. Self-belief is massively a part of momentum and motivation. You have to believe it in order to do it. And I understand that right at the start of your journey, that belief might be really low. And the reason for that is because you've got no evidence against you. But you have to understand that if all these other people could do it, if all these other people can get in shape, and all these other people can build businesses, and all these other people can build lives that they want to, why can't you? So once you do that, and you start to see the confidence, you start to unlock new doors, that self-belief then gets higher and higher and higher, and all of a sudden you've shifted your identity from the person that you used to be all the time to the new person who you're becoming. Massively important, that one. Motivation isn't the spark, direction is. So this is a really interesting quote, because most people think that motivation is going to be the thing that gets them started. It's not the case. Motivation comes a little bit later on. Direction is. As I said to you there, if I was to give you the direction of what you need to do to lose your first 5 kg in the next 4 weeks, you've got the direction. That's going to be your spark to move that needle, and then motivation comes off the back of it. Super important. So that's motivation. As I said to you, don't rely on motivation. When you've got it, it's absolutely amazing, and it's important that we keep it as much as possible. But the only reason that you're going to do that is if you've got clarity where you're going, you've got the structure that you need, and you're seeing the progress happen over time. So if you want more information on what I do, you want to chat a little bit more, just head over to Instagram, DM me the word project, and I'll fire over all the details of what I do. If not, no problem. I'll catch you in the next video. Hope you enjoy. Drop it a like, drop it a comment, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.